Welcome back. You're looking at not a Moped, but the Homelite 2600 PSI pressure washer. Can't ride it. Well, you kind of can, but you're going to have to Flintstone it around, I guess. But you can spray stuff, and that's always a good time. So, little change of pace. Let's see here, my Honda NA50 project was stolen from me. Where are we? Let's see if we can get in here. And anyhow, I got this a year and a half ago, so I got to find something else to do until my next project gets here Monday. Today's Friday, and I've already kind of started, but this pressure washer has an interesting history. At least, I know part of its history, and that was it went to the local hardware store. There's a little repair tag. Someone took it there, and it said, "Get running. Don't know when it ran last." And I think it was ill cared for. And anyhow, the hardware store tried to get it running and apparently gave up on it. Of course, I can't really blame them because one thing with pressure washers is you can get the motor running again, but you don't know, what condition the pump's in. And so I've already this thing has 4 mounting bolts that mounts the engine to the frame, and I loosen those, and in its normal position the engine sits like this. Now, why is that a problem? Well, why could that be a problem? Well, these are the two nuts and studs or whatever that the carburetor mounts on, and you can take these out, but then you've got this frame in the way. So I stopped into the hardware store after they had given up on it. They had placed it in their dumpster, and the guy at the store knows I like to tinker with things, and said, "Hey, gave up on this pressure washer, threw it in the dumpster. You can have it if you want it." So I fished it out of the dumpster. There was like broken glass all over it. They had thrown a bunch of scrap glass away, and I had to pick all that off. And anyhow, he'd given up on it because you couldn't get the carburetor out. Well, come on, man. It's not that hard. All you got to do is take out the mounting bolts and nuts and move the engine to a location where you can get that carburetor out. So I got it running, and the pump worked, and I used it a bit, and then my mom wanted to use it, so I took it over to her house, and she used it. And I was smart enough to take it down in the basement when it got cold last year, but didn't empty out the gas, so we've got a case of carburetoritis here, where the gas is set, and I don't know, for almost a year now, I guess last time this year we put it down in the basement. So I don't know, since I don't have a Honda NA50 to work on, I guess I'll mess around with this and get this project done, and maybe power wash some stuff before it gets too cold. And then another good project with the power washer is to try to make snow. My buddy was talking about that. Of course, it's not, well, it's almost cold enough to make snow, Well, actually later tonight it might be. So on the Homelite, is Homelite metric or standard? That's what I want to know. Got a feeling. I got a feeling it's standard. But let's try our trusty 10mm. Maybe it's not standard at all. Maybe it's metric. So let's get this carburetor off. I've kind of started without you. Sorry about that. These things happen. Where did I put that thing? You know, I've tried to organize here, and in organizing I move things around, and now I'm lost. I'm lost as to, you know, I just had, there it is right here. I was moving it out of the way of the camera. That's what happened. And this is a little tilted, but it is strapped down. Let's see if we can, yay. Using the air filter top half for bolt storage or hardware storage. So, yeah, I don't know, it's probably last summer. I think it was last summer. It was last summer. I had indicated in one of my Moped videos, you know, how you can use your Moped Skillz. That's ripped. That's a problem. The breather hose is ripped. Can you see that or not? Yeah, you can see that, right? What am I going to do about that? Well, we'll worry about that later. Oh, it looks like I added some new fuel on to this. Oh, so yeah, Moped Skillz to make money. You know, I'm sure most people on here have dealt with cleaning a carburetor. And that's all we're doing here. It's just a different type of carburetor. So if you find something out on the street, I found a generator. I let my buddy have it. It just needed a carburetor clean. Somebody put out a did it have an hour meter on it? It must have had an hour meter. I don't think it had an hour on the thing. It was a brand new Generac 1500 watt generator. I didn't want to mess with it at the time, and my buddy, I gave it to him, and those things new are like $1,100-1,200 bucks. Somebody set it on the road, man. I couldn't believe it. So what you run into here is throttle linkage. I don't know. You can't see this, can you? What are we looking at? So, you know, what's different than mopeds? You see that steel bar and that spring, that steel rod and spring, two steel rods and springs. I don't know if it's governor or throttle or whatever, but you just gotta make note of where those connect, and then take them off, and then take the carburetor off, and then once you clean it, put them back on. That's all. That's not too scary, I don't think. And you know, maybe the spring. Well, that's interesting. It's got a spring running right over the rod. All right. Well, first off, I see. So, maybe needle nose plugs. Let's not bend the spring either, right? Let's see if we can just gently take this out without, you know, causing it much distress. Alright, spring is gone. Now we need to get this steel rod removed. And we might, let's see here. Oh my, that was on there tight. So let's see. Did you want to come off? There we go. We just pull it right out, see? And then we got a little spacer. So we got a little, don't want to lose that spacer gasket thing before the carb and, I guess between the carb and air filter. And then I guess I got to disconnect this fuel line. Would you like a better view of this? I bet you probably would. You're like, what are you doing? I can't see anything, man. What kind of show is this? You know, is this, you know, keep me in the dark show? So, this has got a fuel valve built onto the carburetor. I might have to just remove this fuel line. It doesn't want to seem to let go. And I'm committing a bit of a faux pas. You know, I'm walking around, talking, moving away from the camera. You know, some people might be pleased with that. You know, the audio quality is lacking. You know, I can't watch this on my cell phone. You know, it's oh my God. What's up with that? That's on there good. There. She's starting to move. There she goes. Come on off. It's okay. Come on. Alrighty. What else is holding us back? Anything? No, that's it, I think. So carburetoritis, you know, bad gas. This gas is so bad it doesn't even stink. It smells like, what is that smell? You know, it just has a watery smell and kind of a varnishy smell. I don't know. But yeah, you can, that looks like a 10 as well. You can use your moped skills, your carburetor cleaning skills, your basic moped 101 repair skills. Let's see what we got here. Is there anything in? There's nothing in the carburetor. No liquid at all. A little bit of liquid. It's benign smelling gas. There she, oh, there's, oh, now she's coming out. See, this is a good thing I got this dish here, isn't it? Oh, we got some trash in there. What is that? Gasket? Dead gasket? Oh, that float bowl gasket, I think, has had it. Might that be our problem? Yeah, that is our problem. See, basically what was happening, I neglected to mention it till now, was gas was just running. Carburetor is just leaking gas. And whenever that happens, it's usually one thing. And that means there's detritus. I like detritus. There's detritus blocking the, where are we? I gotta take the float off, but blocking the needle, between the needle and the seat is what I'm trying to say. Detritus. Detritus. How do you say it? And I think our detritus in this case is this float bowl gasket. which is deteriorated. That might be a common word there with detritus. Deteriorated over time, and how is that going to come out? It's in there good. I got to remember to stay on camera, you know what I mean. Let's take the float off at least. Well, we got stuff falling off. That should be easy to figure out. I'm not worried about that so much. Is that main jet? Main jet is accessible. Let's take the main jet out. What the heck do we have? Alright, we're not getting the main jet out right yet. Fit down into a groove. And then oh my God. You'd think we could get underneath it and pick it out, right? I mean, that's what I think. Oh, let's make, okay, we got that. Turpentine, is that what I'm thinking old gas smells like? Alright, here we go again, you know, off camera, right? What's going on here? You don't want to damage this either. What? Yeah, it's done. Where am I going to find this gasket? I guess I could just use some, I could fake it, I could cheat, right? Is this just, did someone just fake it before me? Is that what happened? I think that's the case. I mean, assuming someone in the past. Christ. What a disaster. Is this gasket maker I'm chewing out of here? I think it is. I think that is the source of our problem. Well, I don't know. You tell me, man. I don't know. Oh. It sure seems like it. See if we can avoid stabbing ourselves in the finger, right? Yeah, I couldn't. I guess the first time I did this wasn't so bad. Alright, that's the majority of it. We'll have to fiddle with it some more, but there you go, that's our problem. Alright, a quick conclusion to, I guess, part one. I ended up just taking the engine out of the frame, which is what I should have done in the first place. And then that was the float bowl gasket that had just deteriorated. It was not gasket maker. And I looked around online trying to find another float bowl gasket. And I actually found a new carburetor for $10.62. So it's made for the same model number, but they've added a B and a D on the end. But I guess worst case scenario, I could probably just use the float bowl gasket out of that if for some reason the carburetor didn't work, and I'd be really surprised if it didn't work. So although I'm cleaning the carb in the ultrasonic cleaner, I think I'm just going to order the new carb. That might be, my best bet here. $10.62, but I'd probably end up spending $2.99 on a float bowl gasket, and they're going to charge me $8 to ship it anyways, right? So $10.62 for a carburetor with free shipping. I don't even know how they make any money off of those things. But anyhow, that's what I'm going to do. So stay tuned, and I'll go ahead and order that up and hopefully have it here in the next few days. And I also have another project arriving on Monday, a more Moped related project. Oh yeah, I was watching a video this morning and I saw where the Yankee in Kentucky had glued together a float bowl gasket. I considered that, but I think I'm just going to order the carb. So hey, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon.